Hi, welcome to session 3 SAP BW 7.4. In the last two sessions, we saw the introduction to BW, and second one, we saw how to create an object, what is an info object, what are the different types of info object available in the business warehouse. So, info object is the granular part where you can load or you can store the data from different sources. It could be SAP ECC or it could be a flat file. So in this session, what we are going to learn is what is the data flow. For example, if you want to load data into business warehouse, where do you start and what are the different steps involved in the loading the data into the business warehouse? So there are different types of data load available. The one we're going to see right now is to load data from a flat file or a CSV file. That's one of the acceptable format of with SAP to load data into their system. Right, in business warehouse, we are going to load data from a flat file, and I'm taking an example of a sample data. I'll be loading it into the business warehouse. So that's the objective of this session 3, right? Like data flow on how do you load data from a flat file? What are the steps involved in it? Okay, so let's get on to the class now. So before I go to the to load data into the business warehouse, I want you guys to know what is the steps involved or what are the different processes involved in the loading data into business warehouse, right? So if you can see this picture, you can see there are, we can load data from ECC, from a different database, also from flat file. The flat file can be of this format. It could be .csv or a text file or a DAT format. Okay. So in this example, and most of the time, we will be using the comma separated value file as an input file for the loading data into business warehouse. Okay, so what is happening here? If you can see here, we are going to in this one, the bottommost place is the flat file, right? Flat file is the data from where you get it, and from the flat file you will load it. You will create an info package. I will be explaining everything. What are those things in the when we are doing the exercise? Okay. So from flat file, you load into the info package. Basically, you create an info package, and then you create a data source. Okay, you need to tell the system what is the source of the data. Is it from an ECC or from a different database or from flat file? Okay, so we are going to we're going to let the system know what is the source, right? And once you let the system know what is the source, so it understands where to pick the data from, right? So next step would be creating something called PSA. PSA means it's called persistent storage area. Okay, let me write down here. In SAP, PSA is called persistent storage area. Okay, so that's what is the meaning of PSA. So that's a temporary storage area where you can load the data into this place, into this in this PSA. So this is the first step before you load into business warehouse. Okay, so once you load that data into PSA, and then from there you will be doing a data transfer process. Okay, there could be a scenario that data coming in from a flat file might have a data like this. For example, the name of this or the KUNNR is basically a key figure. Okay, so this one has a data, but one of the data is just for an example, has some invalid character, right? So this invalid character has to be removed when you load the data into the data target. Okay, so those processes will be taking place in the data transfer process and transformation. Eventually, you will be loading the data into data target. So in this class, you will be seeing until this one. Okay, so how do you create a source system to let BW know what source the data coming from, and then how to create the load data into the PSA. Okay, so the steps involved here is to, let me write this, just a step-by-step instruction, right? So let's do that, right? Okay. So the steps involved, what we are going to do, the objective is to load flat file data into BW. Okay. Steps involved, step 1 is create a data source. It could be like, people who are already experienced might do different way, but these are the steps involved in, the loading data. Okay. Step 2 is create info package. Okay. And load data into data source, right? That's again, you can call it as PSA. Okay. There are some more steps available here, like you will be creating a data target. So that we'll see in the next class. Okay. So I want to go step by step, like right now. So we'll just have a create a data source. So before creating data source, like basically that the data file what I have is, let's see. Okay, the data file what I have is this is the data file I have. Okay, so this data file I already created. Okay, so the first line is the header line, and then the other one, until other lines are the data line. Okay, so if you can see, we have multiple the columns, right? Multiple columns are there, and then each and every column has some data, correct? So I need to create to load this data into BW. I should have an info object, right? Employee number, name, city, team, designation, gender, age, and salary, right? So I should have I should have to load this entire set of data. I should have an info object, right? That's what we learned in the previous session, right? So info object is the granular, it stores the granular data. Okay, so let's go ahead and create these info objects first, so that it's like a good exercise that what you have done in the last class. And based on that, next step we will create a data source and then try to load this data file. Okay, so this data file is, like I said, it's a comma separated value. Okay, so this, you should be clear that I'm going to you will create a similar file, or I can even send this file to you guys for the first time, so that you don't have difficulty in creating data. But eventually, I would recommend you should create your own flat file, so that you will have an experience. Okay, so I'm going to close this, or let's keep this open so that we know what are the fields to be created, right? So where do you go and create the info objects? The transaction, right? /n RSA1, right? This is the transaction to go to the data modeling area. Okay. Okay, so I go to data modeling area, right? Now I will go ahead and create one info area, right? If you see in my class, in the previous session, I told you, right? So see, you will have a info area, is a logical grouping, and from then info area you have info object catalog, and for one for key characteristic, one for key figure. Okay, so in the same way we will go ahead and create, right? So let's create a info area. Okay, create info area. ZIA BW exercise 1. Okay, study exercise 1. BW exercise 1. Let's see is going to take it or not. Okay, or practice. I'll say reference. Okay, reference 1. Okay, so info area. That's training 7.4 reference 1. Okay, so that you guys know when you want to access the system, it will be easy to find out what is our. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, info area. Okay, click on OK here. So it's going to ask you. Okay, I need to explain to you about the task. Okay, so I can do that later in the class. So right now, just I'm going to because this is a separate session. It will be so right. You won't understand, or it will be difficult to find realize what is a task in this at this moment. Okay, so I'm just going to create a. I'm taking a screenshot. Okay, fine, right? All right. Okay. So now I created a. Just because the training system. It might give a. Let's cancel it. Okay. Let me go back and then let's create our own. Okay, it does not have any. SAP BW study nest. Okay. Project. Let's see what project I have. There is nothing is found here. Okay, so this because this is a training system, that could be some kind of a setting issue. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create. See, it's already created, right? So that's what I said. Like I will explain to you what is a task and what are the things we need to be involved in. Okay? So right now I'm going to. I already created the info area. Now I would like to create a. Info object catalog. See, when I right click here, I do not see anything called info object catalog at all. Why? Because I'm in a place where called info provider. So in this location, you can only create the data targets. We will learn everything about it. Okay. So, but if you want to create info object, you should go to the info object area. Okay, and then again info object area. You come down all the way. You see the same, the info area, right? So now you right click. You click on the info object catalog, right? ZIF C care. Okay. Info area for I would say info object. Okay, info object. You can just make it shorter. Okay, info object catalog. Okay, characteristics. Study nest. Let's make this one of the study nest underneath the characteristics, right? I click here. Then you activate it. I don't know if you would have listened to like section 2, you would have seen that I need to activate anything. I mean any object you create in BW, or in SAP should be activated. Okay, then only you will see them in the. So again, now I'm going to go quickly because you know this one already. So ZIFCKF info OBJ cat DW training. Okay, studying it. Okay, and then it should be key figure. Okay, in this scenario, do we have key figure at all? Can somebody tell me? This is basically, these are all, or even this, until this, right? Even this, these are all characteristics, and these two could be what? It could be, these two could be key figure. Okay. Hi, welcome back. Sorry for the break. Yeah, like I was mentioning before the break that we are going to create info object for all this field, right? So let's go ahead and create an info object, right? I'm going to create info object for whatever the field what you have. So basically, we already created the info object catalog for characteristics and key figure, right? I just activated right now, so you see these two, okay? And now we're going to create the let's do the characteristics, okay? Create info object. I'm just going to create a quickly, right? What are these? Again, EMP number, right? You see EMP number, study list, okay? Then, okay. See, this is a good example. So ZEMP number, this is a training system. That could be always somebody will be using the same object. So you cannot create the same object. It says please rename, right? This one, okay? It says no result found, okay? So let us create no, okay? And based on the, it was just only one number, right? So let's say data type is character string, and then I have to say okay 2, okay, and then activate it. Okay, now next is ename, right? Another info object. Okay, I'll go quickly because this one we should not take more time. Ename, right? Ename one, okay. So this will what up? Name one, okay. So it says no result found, huh? And name study list, okay. And then I'm going to again select character string. Let's see, probably we'll take it as 10, okay. Maximum would be maybe 12, okay. Then activate it. Okay, next is what? Like ECD. Okay, ECD. ECD. One. Now result found. Alright, so it's checking in the mind. This facility, like no result found facility, was not available in the previous version. But right now, it is going to check, it will tell you, okay, if there is something similar to this, it will tell you that, okay, there is something there, you want to use that same name, okay? Okay. ECD study nest, okay? Alright. And then Again, city is what? Okay, we'll take it as 12. Okay, make it as 12. Right? Make it as a 12. Okay, and then I want to activate it. Next is what? E team. Belong to which team, right? A team. Z E team 1. Okay, that's no result form. E team. Okay, E team study nest. Okay. So what's what? Like it's a maximum is 3. I'll say 3. Okay. Okay. So next is E designation. Okay. E designation. 3EDISIG 1. Okay. Just in case maybe there is somebody already created a designation, so we are going to E designation. Okay. Study test. Okay. Okay. Then let's see it could be maximum of 15, maybe 15, right? What's the maximum? 3, 9, 12, 13, 14. So, okay, let's do it as a, maybe, like that. We can take it as 20, right? Just in case. Okay. I'm going to give you the record as a 20. Right? Okay. What is next one? Gender. Okay. Gender 1. Okay. It's checking and it says there is nothing available. We are good to go. Now, the gender. What are you going to say? Gender study nest, right? What I'm asking. This is the gender study nest. And then see, it's like EF is just to one character, right? Okay. Just in case, just make sure. Okay. So we got the characteristics done. The next is key figure. Okay. I'm going to even now here age can be a key figure or a characteristics, but you might even do some calculation with the age. So we will just make it as a key figure, right? Okay. Let's do a key figure. Z E A G 1. Okay. Age study nest. Okay. Study nest. Okay. All right. And then scroll to H1. And it's a number, right? Could be a number, right? Number it says decimal point. Okay. Quantity. What does it say? The floating point. It can be a floating point or it's just to integer. What does integer say? Integer is number. Okay. All right. So let's see how it works. We're going to test it out, right? Because I just don't want you guys to just blindly do something and then you get the result. You should try it out, right? So I'm going to do as a integer. What does integer will do? Somebody know? Okay. Integer or a number. Number is what? Decimal, floating point is there, right? Let's do an activate. Let's see how it works. Okay. Next is salary, right? Z E sal 1. Okay. That's about salary study nest. Okay. The salary is the amount, right? Basically, okay. So let's do the amount. Okay. With the currency thing, everything. So you can have either as a, it could be if it is salary, it can be a fixed currency. If you go fixed currency, click on fixed currency. It could be anything, right? Right? It could be anything. Fine for a USD. Okay. Let's say USD. It will be. So that will be something we should do. We should do here when we load the data, right? So I will tell you that, right? Okay. So what we have to do? Okay. Right. What's next step? No. Okay. We activated the data, right? Right. So now this is the first step. We still haven't gone to the place where we should be create a source system. Okay, there is something called create a source system. So now, what is our source system? So you go ahead and click here. The source tab here, right? So source system link, and then it's going to bring you. It's going to bring you list of source system available. So most of the people, if you see, they have done. Source system could be anything. It could be a flat file, it could be a data server BODS connection, or it could be BW, or it could be like ECC connection. For us right now, we are worried about only the flat file, because this file is a flat file which we are going to load into. I'm going to close this one. Okay, so that when we try to load data, that file should not be open. It will give an error, right? So that's why I'm going to close this one. Okay. And we'll create a source system. Okay, right click, right in this. First, what it is go to the source system, right click, create. Okay, what name it can give? ZFF nest. Okay, it should be only 9 character. STY. Okay, STY flat file. Okay. Flat file. Okay. Study nest. All right. Source type and all those things, it will automatically it should take automatically. Okay, so basically these are all the different types. So we're not going to worry about it. Okay, and then click OK. Let's see how many characters is there. Okay, no, not fine. It might give an error. Okay, it's not. Yeah. It will take some time. So it's creating a source system name, and it's letting the system know that okay, there is a new source system which has been created, and that will take file from data from a flat file. Okay, so that's why it is taking some time. All right. Once we create the source system, the entire team can use the same source system itself, because you don't have to create it. Just for your exam, just for your practice, you can try to do it, but otherwise, I would recommend just using the same source system what I am creating, and you can use it for all your projects. Okay. See, because it's taking a long time, right? So it doesn't mean that you don't have to create it. Just to avoid the delay, you can always use the existing. I could have used anything from here. There is no restriction, but I want you guys to know that how to create it. It's done now. Okay. What is the name we gave? See, I don't see here, right? What's the name we gave? We have to find out what's the name. Study nest, right? ZFF. ZFF SDY. Let's see. See, it's here. Okay. If you cannot see, you can just create. This is the file we created. Okay. The flat file source system name. Okay. So now the next step is to create a data source. Okay. So data source creation is done at this level. Okay. So to create data source, what you have to do is you need to select the source system. Okay. And you click on this. Okay. Go here. Right. And then look for your ZFF file. You gave ZFF. Okay. So now see this one properly, right? So I went to this place, right? From here you can select the source system. You should let the system know from on what source system you are creating the data source. Okay, so I selected the file and then I went to the ZFF. Where is that file? Right. Okay. Okay, so it's there. Okay, I selected this, right? So it's bringing you to the place where, see, these are all these are all unassigned nodes, so it's okay, don't worry about anything. We will just go ahead and, so to create data source, there is something we should do, okay? To create data source, the step is to something called create application component. You will know what is this. I'm going to do that right now. Okay. So here, once I selected the data source, I right click. You see, so what is an application component is? It is it's a top level storage area where you can create all your components. Okay. So it's like SAP is a well organized software, so you cannot just create the data source just like that anywhere. So to begin to keep it well organized and systematic, there is something called create application component. So you're going to create. So right click on this and select. Click here. Right click. Application component. Right. Z AC study nest. Okay. Application component study nest. Okay. Right. I'm going to click on this. Okay. It says that make requests in foreign names if only there. Okay, that's fine. Just giving an okay. Let's do this. Because of training system, again I said, I'm going to just make it as a own request. Okay. Okay. So now I have created an application component. The one, whatever the multiple screens you guys saw, that I will be explaining in the future classes. Right now that is not at the we are not at that point. Okay. Okay. So now we have an application component, right? So once we have application component, create the data source. So right click on the application component, create data source. Okay. So ZDS SDYMES, right? Okay. I'll take this one. I'll keep it. Okay, data source type. So data source type means right now the data what you're going to load is the transaction data. Okay, it is changes every now and then, right? So I'm going to say transaction data. Okay, right? Template, all these things you don't have to worry about it because you're still not there. Okay, you don't worry about the templates and everything. Okay, right? Okay, then click on OK. So now we have come to this place where we should give the description for our data source. Okay, DS study next ref1. Okay, I'll just copy and give. This is not that much important, so I'm going to just copy it and give it. Okay, right? Flat file, from a flat file. It even says from a flat file. Okay, and then click activate. So you will not see that this data source under the tree, but only you have to activate it. Then only you will be able to see. So it says there is some kind of an error. It says no field is supplied. One is no field supplied. Let's see. Okay, it should. What the error what we got is basically regarding the transport, and being a training system. This is giving some an issue, and that need to be fixed with the service provider. But let's try to create a data source right now. Okay, again, right? So let's see, read. Okay, and it's a transaction data object type. As far as I know, we don't have to create anything at all right now. Okay, so we are going to create a okay. So I'm going to create the data source, try creating data source again. Okay, so that's same name, same transaction type. Template is not necessary. Okay. 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 Let's check this. This error seems to be a weird error I've never seen in my, in my 10 years of experience. Why? I mean, we're not even giving any. Okay. Okay. So now I know what is we are doing. Okay. So for example, right. So when you create a data source, we should also let the system know that what are the different types of processes involved in it. Okay.